What up, y'all? Appreciate you showing up, hanging out, listening to my dumb ass. Like and subscribe. Anyway, hope everybody had a nice holiday. Plenty of food in your bellies and all that good stuff. And, giving thanks and all that stuff. Although the history of that is a little whatever. We're not getting into that. We have turned it into something positive. So just thanks. Just give thanks. Yeah. So, some things have happened. This has happened. Okay, so Sony makes sneakers too. I guess Crocs are probably the most. They're the most popular rubber slipper clog. They're clogs, right? They're rubber clogs. Basically, they're just rubber clogs. They got sport mode. You flip the thing. Anyway, these are. I mean, if you were to, my light just went out. If you were to, we're gonna keep going. If you were to, just I don't know, be a collector of all things Xbox, sure, you get one of these. Now I think these are specific though, so that's why they're like 880. But are they? I don't even know. Anyway, I guess they're cool. I don't. I mean, then I don't wear Crocs, so I wouldn't know. So yeah. Although I do I just noticed there's like a bumper on it too and stuff. I would have to have it in my hand and see the quality, but honestly, don't need. If they actually worked as controllers, that'd be something different. But no, they're not gonna. And why it's one controller each? Wouldn't they should have one controller across the both of them, right? So that you can have one half here and the other half here. Because this doesn't make sense. Unless, is there another bumper on this side, or is it just, anyway, I'm thinking way too much about these. They're goofy. Yay. Okay, so I was scrolling, people talking blah, 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 blah. The blades. Now, a lot of people have a nostalgia for the old blades, and I do not. I was like, yeah, they're cool. But then when the NXT came out, I was like, okay, that's better, but it's not there yet, but that's kind of cool. I like the 3D-ness of this. Because this, I mean, we kind of have this right now. If you like scroll over and I guess it's just an aesthetic thing because they could do this. But the problem with this is that this doesn't have as much information as the current dashboard. So I don't think it works now. I mean, they could probably come up with something. But I think we know what's going to happen with the new FSE. The FSE, that's the new joint. So, I wanted to talk about this because I saw the Digital Foundry video of, I believe it was Silent Hill F. I believe it was that. Man, all my lights are turning off. Oh, well. So, it's just going to be dark. And so it was. Anyway, I think it was that game. So I was looking at it and I was like, okay, they were comparing the PlayStation 5 Pro and the Xbox Series X, right? And PiserTech was employed in the PlayStation 5 Pro, obviously. And there's a problem that's happening with PiserTech, right? I mean, the fact that it doesn't work is the main problem. But what has happened is that PiserTech is a joke. Nobody wants to use it. When they do use it, they say, well, you have the expected flickering and artifacts that you have to deal with when you're using PiserTech, PSSR. And I'm like, and this is Digital Foundry. And they've done many, at least 3 games that I remember off the top of the head, that are just flicker. Like, why is that flickering? Why are the foliage shadows flickering? It's flicker tech. I said that joke earlier. Anyway, I was like, oh, okay. And so the Xbox Series X version performs better than the PlayStation version. And I'm like, and then people think they're like, why is the Xbox Series X so expensive? Why the PlayStation 5 Pro is cheaper or it's just about the same price? And I'm like, yeah, because performance-wise, they're about the same. So when Phil Spencer said back in the day, a couple years ago, he said, we did both versions. We did the regular, which was the S, and then we did the mid-gen upgrade, which was the X. They did them both at the same time. And I was like, I mean, that kind of sounds like PR stuff, but the proof is in the facts. The proof is in what's happening. And these games are underperforming on the PlayStation 5 Pro versus the Xbox Series X. So Phil was right. Phil was right. He said the Xbox Series X is basically the higher end, the mid-gen upgrade for power, blah, blah, blah. He's right. And the fact that the PlayStation 5 regular amateur was outperforming the Xbox Series X means that the devs weren't using the X at its full potential. That's what that means. And people, they're just like, oh, for the whole generation, PlayStation's been better. It's like, there's a reason why. And it's like, it's disingenuous to say the Xbox Series X wasn't the most powerful console, because it was compared to PlayStation 5. And even with the PixelTech 5 Pro Tato out, and it's more powerful, quote unquote, on paper, it sucks. And mainly because PixelTech, and PixelTech doesn't work. And that was the main thing that was going to make it better. But it's not. Look, what is Legendary Drop saying? Xbox raising, this is 3 days ago. Xbox raising prices again? You mean the same Xbox on and they didn't plan it up? Man, he's a booty face. He's a booty face. Okay, so a lot of 360 stuff is going on. It's been the 20-year anniversary 5 days ago, something like that. 4 days ago. 6 days ago. And I don't usually listen to them, but I listened to it today, the Podcast Unlocked, only because Major Nelson was on there. And I was like, oh, let me listen. I haven't heard Major Nelson on audio video in a minute. It's been years. It's been approximately 22 years since he left Xbox. And so I listened to it. And I will say that it's a good, if you're an Xbox fan at all, and you want to kind of go down memory lane a little bit and get a little behind the scenes stories and stuff, listen to it. I think it's about an hour or so. And it's good because it's just like Major Nelson talking about all the stuff, right? But his voice has always been cool. I think I took it for granted because I got used to it because I was listening to him for years, right? Hearing him again was like a breath of fresh air, all the different stories and stuff he was telling. And the main thing that, there's a couple of things, but what he had said, basically about he knew when the Xbox 360 era was over, when I think it was when PlayStation announced their price, or when they when Adam Boys and Shuhei did that stupid little video. I think that's what he said. It was one of those points. He's like, he knew it was over. I was like, oh. I mean, it was a combination of different things that happened. It was like that. It was the price. It was Shuhei and Adam Boys, and it was Dimatric. That whole trinity of disaster happened within the span of like 24 hours, and it was a wrap. And I was like, I'm sitting there, I'm looking, I'm like, really? Not enough for me to pull a Dreamcast. Like when Peter Moore pulled the plug on the Dreamcast, I was like, yo, y'all just killed my childhood. So I'm an adult now. Time to hit the clubs. That's literally what I did. I was like, yo, I'm done. Video games are for babies. Where's the clubs at? And that's what happened. And then the Xbox caught my eye. I was like, hey, what you looking all video gamey and stuff over there, girl? You all big and black. Pause. Voluptuous. Can we describe the first Xbox as voluptuous? It was thick. She was a thick girl. Anyway, yeah. So it was a very interesting listen. Definitely listen to it if you're an Xbox dude. Like I said, I don't like listening to that show because it's a bunch of disappointed people who have to make Xbox content because they're the Xbox show on IGN. And it's apparent, and they're always kind of like half-assedly positive about, but mostly negative. And I'm like, I mean, I get that you need clicks, and I also get that negative Xbox rhetoric is what drives traffic. And so when I see these people, when I see these type of content creators out there, and they're doing negative Xbox news, I'm like, is that a passion of yours, or you work for a giant company, corporation, and you need to get them clicks up, right? I don't work for anybody. This is free time. I don't even, my channel isn't even monetized. That's how much so I'm like, look, I speak the way that I speak about PlayStation, Xbox, Nintendo because of the history of video games and how it shaped my fandom, and how the other corporations, mainly Nintendo and Sony, have been less than stellar when it comes to customer service or customer forward, being customer first. That's not what they do. We're not gonna get into that, but it's just like I know the history of why the Dreamcast failed. And part of it was Sony. And Sony didn't have to be that company. They didn't have to be like, oh, we're going to kill all the competition, so we're the only ones so we can be number one because we're the only ones. I mean, they got their wish, I guess, because that's what everybody thinks. But the fact is, and I had somebody in my comments say this, like I'm moving the goalposts or something, because I said the Xbox Ally this is when I was talking to Paris. I keep bringing this up, but this is what he was referring to. And I said, Paris said it's a PC. I said, it is a PC, technically, but it's also a console. In this instance, it can be both. That's basically the gist, right? And so, I think it was or I in my comments. Shout out to you. Appreciate the comments. That person said that I was moving the goalposts because, and he put in there, why can't they be both, blah, blah, blah. And then I'm saying that the Steam Deck is a PC, right? And I'm like, it's a PC because Steam said it's a PC. It's literally a PC. You take out Linux or Steam OS, and then you put in Windows, guess what it does? It does the PC thing. It's a PC. And so, like, now my mind is like, okay, what is a console? What makes this a console? And what makes this a console? What makes this a console? What makes this a PC, right? I was thinking about that in my head. I said, technically, the only thing that makes a console and a PC is the OS, right? So this has happened. So I think it was a PlayStation 2. I'm pretty sure they did PlayStation 3 too, but I remember PlayStation 2. Somebody put Windows, was it 7? No, I don't think it was 7. That's too early. Windows 95. One of the Windows. It might have been Windows 98. They put that on a PlayStation 2, and it ran Windows 98, and I'm like, okay, wait, does that make that a PC? If you put a keyboard and mouse and you could run Windows 98 on a PlayStation 2, does that make it a PC? That's my question, right? If you have a black box with a mouse and keyboard hooked up to it and a Windows operating system on it, and you turn it on and it says blue ding, 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 and then you go online or you go to Twitter, X, whatever, does that make it a PC? Is your phone a PC because you can do a lot of the things that PC can do? Some people say no, because it's a phone. It's mobile. It's a phone. It's a different OS, right? So that's Android, right? So if you get a Chromebook or you get a PC and you put Android on it, is that a PC or is that a phone? See, that's, I don't know. I say it's about the OS. Form factor, that's sure, but like I said, the Steam machine, the new one, looks like a little form factor Steam machine. It looks like a really cool one, but there's some really cool ones out there that actually look kind of better, I ain't gonna lie, than the Steam machine. Steam machine's minimalistic. That's cool. They kind of borrowed from the Xbox. Let's be real. It literally looks like a half of an Xbox. And its form factor does not make it a console. What it does makes it a console, but what it does is what Steam does in big picture mode, Steam OS, which is a PC thing, which is a Steam Deck thing that they're bringing over to a form factor PC. And they literally call it a PC. They made a joke about it. It's a PC. And so I'm like, what's the confusion? So the person in my comments, we went back and forth, and I'm like, look, Xbox is evolving. PlayStation is not. PlayStation is staying static. I'm not going to say they become extinct, because, if you do not evolve with the changing times, you may become extinct. I'm going to say may. I don't think they will. They just adapt slower than the others, mainly Steam and Microsoft / Xbox. And right now, if you look at the landscape, right, and you look at the technology, you look at moving forward, and this goes back to the Major Nelson interview, where he was kind of lamenting and reminiscing about how Xbox did a lot of firsts. They were the first to have an online marketplace. Before Steam, before Apple, the Xbox, the OG Xbox, had a store where you could buy games. Y'all don't remember that? They were the first. They did it as far as like a dedicated box, not like a computer, you know what I'm saying? Not like a PC, but a dedicated box. Xbox was first. Xbox was the first to put that broadband adapter in the hardware. Xbox was first, not the Dreamcast. Dreamcast had a freaking regular okey doke phone cable. Didn't have broadband, so don't get it twisted. And I'm talking about from factory, not like, it's an add-on, because that's what PlayStation 2 did, okay? From factory, right out the jump, day one, broadband adapter. Xbox was first. Xbox was first for Xbox Live. Voice over, I guess it's voice over IP or whatever, the voice chat and all that stuff. Xbox was first. They were also first with microtransactions. That's kind of, and they went into it too, with the horse armor and all that stuff. But they came up with a lot of first. They were first with achievements. It's a very long list of innovations that Xbox and Microsoft have done in the video game industry, and no one gives them credit, and you do not realize how impactful they were and have been and will continue to be in the industry. You look at PlayStation. What have they innovated? What have they done? What did they come up with to improve? I would say the one thing is that they made the disc, I don't even know if it was them, honestly, because I don't know if it was their idea or if it was Nintendo's idea, or even though they really didn't go into it that generation. to use disk technology for games, which was it was a plus and a minus because you can have more data on a disk, but it was slower because of the read speed, right? Cartridges are always faster. It's like it's like instant ROM access, you know. But with this, you got to read the data, buffer it, put it in the It's slower. And so, in one respect, you can have giant games. In another respect, slow loading times. And so we got used to that because we were so, mesmerized by, oh my gosh, hear that CD quality music. You know what I'm saying? So, I mean, I'm glad that that's kind of over now and it's all just bits and boops, on your hard drive. SSD, excuse me. Nintendo's idea as far as having cartridges is it's smart in that, like I said, it's faster, but the SSDs are so fast and the I/O and the throughput on these consoles are so fast that they kind of negate the need to have a proprietary kind of cartridge, little circuit board type of deal. So we're past that. Which means we're past physical media. So it's just hard drive space, SSD space, blah blah blah. So that that's something that we have to not get used to because it's like 80-something% is digital. So we don't have to get used to it. It's already happening. But I'm trying to think like what has Sony innovated? I think the latest thing that they've done, I'll give them credit for this. They've put the I was about to say Halifax. There's even a different Halifax stick that's even better than that one. Anyway, I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about the new Rumble technology. What is it called? It's the same. I think it's the same stuff that the Switch Joy-Cons use. They say it's haptic feedback is just the term for the feedback. But it's a specific it's basically like a speaker driver. It's a very small one, and it just moves like this on the circuit board. And so you can put a bunch of those, and they're really tiny. You can put them on the circuit board in different places, and that's why the DualSense can do what it does. It has a bunch of these all over, and it just vibrates. So it's better than just having two motors in the little army arms. In the arms. Let's talk about Dreamcast. Let's talk about Xbox today. But yeah, the motors are here. Two motors. One's bigger than the other. I can't remember which side is which. But so it's like I'll give Sony that. But with the caveat that I believe that they probably got the idea from the Joy-Cons because I believe the Joy-Cons have that. That's what that 3D Rumble was supposed to be or is. And so they probably dissected one and said, "Oh, we should put that in our controller." And they slapped it in, and there you go. So they get props for putting it in their main controller, but it wasn't their original idea as far as I'm concerned. I think Nintendo started. And I give Nintendo some props. They get a little bit of credit for innovating in that way. They haven't innovated on the Switch 2. People say, "Oh, the mouse control is like no. The Legion Go did that first." I think it was the Legion Go who did that first. So, whichever one does the detachable. I think it's the Legion Go. Yeah, they did it first. I was like, "Oh, that's kind of dope. All right, cool." I was like, "I bet you Nintendo bites," and they did. But and so I'll give credit for Sony gets a little bit of credit, but I don't think they have done enough innovation as a whole in the industry as for their time being in the industry, because they were in the industry almost 10 years. No, it was like six years, something like that. 6 years before Xbox. And I guess their innovation was the disc, right? CD, DVD games. But it's like they do one thing, they're successful, and they kind of glide, and then they take it easy, and they like stop innovating, or they just have really bad ideas. They've had a lot of bad ideas, a lot of bad hardware ideas throughout the years. Remember the PSP Go? Remember that hot trash piece? I think I saw one on Facebook Marketplace for like $20 the other. I was like, who wants that? I was like, I would just get it just to have it. Like, okay, and put it on the shelf. Like, look, it's a PSP Go. Ha ha ha. You know, but what else? What else? Like, I mean, you can say, what else? What else have they innovated? Um, as far as like game wise, I mean, you could give them a little bit of credit for the movie type games, but that's one genre that they do well. I'm not gonna say there's trash garbage, but if that's all you do, it gets a little tired. You played yourself. It's played out. Everybody knows what the next game's gonna be. It's gonna be a sad dad walker simulator movie, movie, blah blah blah. A little bit of gameplay, movie. The gameplay's good. I ain't gonna say it's bad, but the gameplay isn't the main like focus for them. And I think that's the issue. Like, I'm sitting here, I'm playing freaking Ball Pit, and I'm like, why is this goofy game? It's a goofy game. Why is this goofy game so addictive? It's simple. The simple mechanics that make it addictive are just, they harken back to Atari 2600, Apple IIGS. That's how old the hook in those games are. Simple. And they put it in a game with pretty good graphics. It's not the best looking thing, but it's good enough, right? Got little dudes running around, and you bouncing balls off of walls, and I'm like, yo, balls. Hey, it's addictive. You play one round, you play 2 rounds, you're like, all right, I'm cool. Put a couple houses up, throw some grass fields, some wheat fields out there, some trees, a forest. Expand. I got all the way to the desert part. Anyway. So I mean, Sony's always gonna get. They've been getting a pass for a long time. And like the Game Awards, this will be the last thing. The Game Awards is kind of one of the things that irks me, because I'm like, they got 2 games nominated, and they got 19 nominations off of these 2 games, right? And I'm like, and what, Xbox get like 12 nominations off of like 10 games or something like that? I'm like, look, Death Stranding 2, it's barely there. I mean, they published it, but it's going to come to the Xbox, so I don't even know what that means. It's a Kojima game. So that will most likely win more than Ghost of Yotei. Come on, let's be real. You know it's true. Ghost of Yotei, I don't know, man. I guess it's cool. I keep seeing clips. I'm like, it doesn't look bad. But it's like, I don't really care to play it. I'm good. I just started Outer Worlds 2 the other day. And what had happened? I was and I was sneaking around. I was stabbing fools, sneak stabbing. I stabbed them in the kneecap, and they're like, and they fall over. And I didn't really want to kill anybody, but I was like, But I'm on a. I guess it's one of the first missions or whatever. So I'm like, cool. So, and it's a cool game right now. I haven't gone too deep into it yet, but it's good right now. And then I still haven't finished Expedition 33. I mean, look, there's so many games. There's so many. I'm gonna predict. I said this before. I'm gonna say it again. Expedition 33 is gonna run away with a bunch of those awards, and it's gonna be dope. And I'm gonna laugh every time Expedition wins and a PlayStation game doesn't. Laughter cometh. I'm already laughing. I'm pre-laughing. I'm laughicating it. And so yeah, so it'd be nice and laughicated, lubricate. Anyway, yeah. So yeah, Mr. Bean's looking weird right there. Oh boy, look at that Xbox. You know what I wish? Here's what I wish. I wish I don't break stuff. I wish that for the next Xbox, the Xbox Ultra Magnus, I wish that it would take some design cues from the Xbox 360. That bad boy right there. Because the Xbox 360 was one of the best looking consoles ever. I said it. Show me the better looking. Don't look at all PlayStations were horrible. Even the PlayStation 4 was like, I mean, that's the best looking PlayStation. Still though, but the 360 is like they had the inhale, whatever, and you know, you see the PlayStation 5, they try to bite. They have no originality. They have the inhale too, but it's not. It's like it's a doofy, and it's like your doofy cousin trying to be cool, but it's like, yo, you nah. It's like you ain't even buy your clothes. You made them all. You made all your Louis Vuitton. Louis Vuitton. I don't know why I said that. Anyway, so is there more pictures of the 360? Like the design of this thing, not the controller so much, because I think this. I mean, this is pretty close to that, right? Where is it? Zip. Try to get the angle. I can't do it. Anyway, I think what it is, I mean, it is partially the rounded like edge here and here. This one, this way, these well, vertical, horizontal, whatever. These rounded edges, these are cool too, but I think this is not as necessary. I mean, you can bring that curve in a little bit, so it doesn't have to be as round. You know, you don't have to have that half a circle type of deal. I get it, because you have the circle here, so it's design language spreads from the power button to these corners to this to here. There's another little circle indentation there. There's the IR blaster jammy there. The sync button. So I get it, and then the little circles on the side. So that's cool, but and also Xbox. It's kind of right there, but if they were to like first, I mean, I think there's a problem with, not a problem, but like they have the weaker consoles usually white now, and then the stronger ones black. That started Xbox One X version. Well, Xbox One S and X. So that's when that started. But I don't think that's the issue. But I mean, one thing that made this a cool looking console, like the OG, the original 360, is that it was white. And I was like, oh, that looks really cool. And I have this version. And so, and it's not so much the inhale. I mean, I guess that does help a little bit, but it's not so much that. But it is really the kind of like the cutout lines. It's kind of like, you know what it's like? It's like, let me see if I can find images of, sorry. Boom, chicka, boom, boom. Let me see if this works. It's like the paneling of a futuristical spaceship, kind of, sorta, kind of like that. I mean, this is a crazy. That's a nice looking ship. This is a crazy ship. You know what? I knew that was Star Citizen. God dog. Look, Star Citizen. One thing I'll say, this is another tangent, but real quick. One thing I'll say about Star Citizen is that their ship design is ridiculous. I'm gonna just get a bunch of these pictures and just look at them because they're pretty. Like that's a pretty ship. And so the design language like this is reminiscent of the 360, kind of, sorta. But it's like, it's the white, but it's also these little detail lines that go inside. Can I zoom? No, I can't zoom in. But like these detail lines that go inside here and come around here and stuff, and like these little things here. Like if they made a console that kind of had that, even though it wouldn't like technically be functional, or maybe it would, who knows. But that would be cool. It would look cool. And I'd be like, yo, I would like to have that on my desk there. And like, you know what would be cool? No, it would be cool. If they made an Xbox that was like that. Like, no, if they made like, well, I was gonna say if they had if they had an Xbox Series X that was designed to look like an Xbox 360. And I'm not talking about the cover, you slap the cover on. No. I want the edges to be round. I want, and necessarily don't need an inhale, but you could probably squeeze an inhale in there. But that would be cool. Like if they did like a a retro type of thing, like how PlayStation does and sells it for over $1,000, and you're like, huh? Yeah. Anyway, I'm rambling. I rambled too long, and yeah, that was the thing. So, but I appreciate y'all hanging out, listening to my dumb ass. Like and subscribe. Hit me in the comments below. Let me know what you think about all the things I said, because right now I just can't remember. But I know that this new generation coming up is going to be nice. It's going to be tight. People are kind of blowing up and over exaggerating and over whatevering all the things about the new Xbox, and I think it's going to surprise a lot of people, and I think it's going to be successful based off of the Xbox ROG Ally. How that is, like, everybody, people are saying things about that, and it's not negative. It's all like positive for the most part. Sorry about the light, but I appreciate, and I'll talk down the next one. Till the way.